Screw 616. Fuck Earth Prime. This season, we're going multiversal. Super Nerdland brings you Graded Point 5.
Hey everybody, welcome to Grade Point 5. I'm your host Jason. With me is the usual fistful of assholes. We got Dick.
Hey.
We got Wayne.
You.
And we got Evan.
Hey.
But yeah. Last normal episode for our little alternate reality shenanigans. And this time, I wanted to prove a point. That point being that, DC doesn't always get it right. We had a very...
You made that point very strongly.
Yeah. But the weirdest part is, it was still better than some of that Marvel stuff we read.
Mm-hmm. Oh, definitely, but it was pretty bad.
We're talking about Superman True Brit, written by Kim Howard Johnson with a little bit of help from John Cleese. Art by John Byrne and David Farmer. Okay. It's Superman with dry British humor. If you don't like dry British humor, you're not going to get it.
You see it's co-written by John Cleese. It's like, you know what you're getting into, pretty much.
You're getting into a freaking Superman Monty Python episode.
Yeah.
Except it's much less silly than a Monty Python.
Yeah.
It is more like, I want to say it's like, how John Cleese sees British culture.
Mm-hmm.
Very dry, very, don't offend anybody, kind of thing.
Don't stick out, don't offend.
Yeah.
Yeah, the squeaky wheel gets the grease and all that shit.
Being as unobtrusive as humanly possible. So yeah. Last week, Superman landed in the Soviet Union. This week, he lands somewhere far more bleak and rainy.
Wait, it's more bleak than Ukraine?
You ever see how much fucking rain parts of the UK get? Holy shit. And where the hell does he wind up? Like middle of bumfuck Weston Supermare?
Mayor? Yeah, middle of bumfuck nowhere.
And gets raised by literal walking British stereotypes.
Yeah, one of whom has a Hitler mustache.
It's painful how hardcore they've been stereotyped to just make a point about how, hey, Superman, Superman, yeah, well, now he's British, and these are his parents, and they're horribly British, and this is British, and it just screams it at you from the very beginning of the whole fucking book, even.
I didn't quite catch that, Dick, could you?
British!
Oh, thanks. Yeah, no, it was pretty insufferable, the stereotyping. I feel like you could definitely have a really solid Superman story set in the UK, where he's born there. But you would, want to write a unique story and not just tell a bunch of jokes about British culture the whole time. Most of which don't land.
I appreciated what they're trying to do with the humor, but it just did not land most of the time.
Yeah, I think that's a fair way of describing it.
Mostly everything.
We even got some slapstick.
Yeah, that's the thing. Most of it's like this Superman's just a bumbling goof,
And has a lot different moral composition than the normal Superman.
Yeah.
Has no problem, for the most part, being kind of a sleazebag. Well, by British standards.
Considering that, I want to be a journalist, but the only journalism in Britain is tabloids, so...
And it's not like tabloids even by our standards.
I mean, the name of the main paper is named the Daily Smear.
And the quote-unquote smearing they do we sell far more harmful stuff on the the end caps to grocery store checkout lanes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hey, y'all remember the Weekly World News?
Alien Hitler gave birth to Whoopi Goldberg.
Right?
Or
I thought that was Winona Ryder.
and of course our favorite, Bat Boy.
Bat Boy lives.
Bat Boy lives and is married in San Diego or something.
I thought he was living in the caves up in Oregon.
I'm just scrolling through because I just started reading. I'm gonna be honest. I started reading before dinner, and I'm just like finishing up pretty much. And I just figured, I just saw who the Batman was. I like really.
Yeah.
What?
Well, we're not even gonna give a synopsis to this. We're just gonna go over the points why you should not read it. The Batman literally has a fucking cricket bat through his midsection.
Yeah,
because Superman fucked up.
Yeah, because Superman was playing cricket and he let go of when he was playing cricket in in college or university as they call it, and he threw the bat and it impaled the dude that he was pitching. I'm sorry, I laugh at the absurdity of it. Not that it was funny. It was
no, because it definitely wasn't funny when I was reading it. I was like, really?
And then, the guy even made a comment that says something like, "It only hurts when I laugh." Like, what? And then would you read, like, they were talking about it on the news, and they said, like, doctors chose not to remove the bat. Like,
why would they do that?
Right? I mean,
and, like the whole main plot of the thing is just dumb. I'm not even going to talk about it because of how dumb it is. But it's basically, let's rip off, like, they even make a reference about this. Let's just rip off Hercules' labors and just call it good, because we don't know what the fuck to do with British Superman. And that's like, this whole thing is just like, okay, let's make British Superman. What the fuck do we do with him? Shit, I have no idea.
Well, an American Superman would learn how to use his powers and, develop those skills and eventually use them for good, right? Well, what would a British Superman do? Oh, well, he would not use those powers.
Because he didn't want to stand out. Yeah.
Yeah, he would just not stand out. He would, try to not use his powers. What?
Wasn't his family's motto, "What would the neighbors think"?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That was, one of the few things that actually made me laugh.
Yeah, same here.
That made me laugh, too. That was
It's funny
good.
coming off of Red Sun, right?
Right.
To this. And it's like, wow, we should go. So we didn't just take a step down in quality. We fell off a cliff and fell into the depths of hell.
Dude, if you also think about it, there's a cultural spectrum that has equates to Superman's power level.
Mm-hmm.
He would be the strongest as a Soviet.
Yeah.
He'd be the weakest as a Brit, but as an American, he's
the most restrained, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the reason he's weak as a Brit is just his own self-confidence, because he was told his whole life, "Don't do anything." I mean, remember he even in this book he tried to hypnotize himself not to use his powers.
Right. Use his powers to hypnotize himself to not use his powers.
Yeah, I mean that's the way you do it, right?
It seems like you would automatically be able to tell, no, this isn't going to work.
Yeah.
But he's so open to the power of suggestion because everybody in his life is telling him what to do. Maybe he would fall for that. Nah, this was that was just a whole lot of crap. Superman not using his powers playing rugby, Superman not flying around, Superman hanging out with fat chicks on the dance floor. Wasn't really... Yeah, it didn't really work for me.
Yeah. And I do... One thing about it did work for me. That the lowest analog wasn't that reality's actual Lois. I thought that was kind of cool. Like they made an analog of her and her own British cousin.
Yep.
Yeah, I guess that actually worked. Elements of the plot that didn't involve Superman
Yeah.
worked.
And why did he keep wearing his medals?
Don't know.
That was never
Don't
explained.
know.
Yeah.
It's because John Cleese was a writer.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Oh, there's so many gags in this that feel like sort of forced gags. Like the fact that his parents move all the time, I guess because they're ashamed of him, felt kind of forced and like a waste of space. The fact that he was always wearing his medals felt sort of like a forced gag.
Now, you know what? I actually have to say I hated even more than all this. The art.
Yeah.
Just the art was it was competent. It just was very sterile.
It was John Byrne art, so it was it had that flair of the 80s to it, and heavy line art and things like that.
You know, the British comic style, like stuff like Beano, you know? A little bit of that, and especially in the Clarks. But it's just, I've seen better of the man, you know?
Basically, if this is most of this, and I know it had a regular writer, but John, because it basically said written by, I forgot who it was, and with influence of John Cleese or something like that. The way I look at it, it's John Cleese saying, it's literally him saying, I do not want to be a British citizen.
So, with the writing here, one thing we sort of want to note is that, Kim Howard Johnson is the original writer. Kim Howard Johnson's most famous for writing Monty Python fan shit. He is a Monty Python fan historian, if you will.
Okay.
So I feel like there's a bunch of gags in here, like the parents moving specifically, or him wearing the medals, where John Cleese was just like, hey, we should put this dumb visual gag in here, and we'll just keep repeating it over and over again until people think it's funny. And then this guy, this Monty Python fanboy, Kim Howard Johnson, can't say no. His hero, John Cleese. Oh, let's have a gag where Superman puts a bat through somebody in a game of cricket. Okay, well later on we're gonna have him indent a dude's skull with the ball, and that gag will come back. And it's like, well, this is a 100-page comic, not an episode of Monty Python's Holy Grail or Monty Python and the Flying Circus. I don't know if we're gonna be able to pull that off. No, the author's just all in on the dumb gags that don't necessarily work.
I do have to admit, though, the fucking cricket ball to the head.
That was better than the bat.
Yeah.
He guy says, "Are you all right?" "Oh no, I'm fine." Then a cricket ball is indented in his head.
And it's like, oh, I've got a cricket ball in my head. Is there a doctor in the house? It's like, really?
It just seems like to me it kind of just drug on,
And of course they called that character Brainiac.
I didn't even catch that. I was probably dying at that point.
Yeah. The dude that took the cricket ball to the dome was called Brainiac. That's how fucking cringy this was.
So, what was supposed to keep us interested, keep us reading? The plot doesn't drive anything, really. We're not invested in these characters. None of them are particularly likable or even interesting.
Nothing really fits together, everything feels forced, and there's just these moments where you expect to hear canned laughter come out of the fucking comic.
When, yeah, maybe they were trying to make this like Faulty Towers. The John Cleese show from the 75 to 79, but like it feels like it's sort of being phoned in on the Cleese front.
His parents moved to the Arctic.
Yeah.
A fortress of solitude, if you will.
I will say that was kind of humorous to me that the parents just moving because they didn't want to deal with. Even though there's no correlation between Colin Kent I'm getting it wrong.
Colin Clark.
Colin Clark and Superman. They still are worried about what the neighbors would think.
So there's one interesting thing that actually I like looking at it, the second time. What's the name of the fucking sleazebag publisher? Like White Badger or something like that?
Perry White?
Perry White Badger or something like that.
Yeah. He is drawn really interestingly in some of these panels.
He's drawn very
exaggerated.
Yeah, stereotypically, sleazebag British.
But there's a few specific panels where he's just drawn so much more detailed and eye-catching.
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost disturbing.
There's one in particular, I think I know what you're talking about, where he's super fucking pissed off. Want to say it's page 30, around page 30.
This one's on 78.
78.
And it looks like the hyper realistic 2000 AD kind of shit.
All right, well now I gotta find this page.
It's just very eye-catching.
Yeah, okay, I'll give you that. That one does look really good. The one where his mouth's open and he looks super freaky.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's one on page, I want to say 32, where he's pissed off to, as pissed off as a human being can be. Not 32, 34, where he's as pissed off as a human being can be. And that looks fantastic, too. But then it totally ruins it for me because there's a panel with the character on white, 2 panels to the left, and I can't stand when a character's standing on white with no background without a good reason for it.
Oh god, yeah, I hate that shit too.
There's a lot of that in this comic.
I mean, in general, I don't like blank backgrounds, period, Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's some minimal effort, just buildings or, walls. I would prefer there to be something there, or at least evidence of something there.
What, you don't like it when characters randomly show up in the fucking Matrix training zone for no reason?
Or the color-tinted variants thereof.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Yeah.
Put literally anything behind the character to give me a sense of scale.
That, and I think a good artist can always make a really interesting backdrop. Oddly, people like McFarlane got good at that kind of shit, Greg Capullo is, a genius at getting down, enough of a background to work without having to draw every damn thing, But yeah. Also, I honestly fucking hated about this book?
There's so much.
Right? But no, the one that, deep down, I just want to kick somebody in every genital they own. The fact that every time Superman did something right, it turned around and fucked with everybody. So it's they use the normal comic book logic in this. Oh, I'm going to crush coal into diamonds to get Britain out of debt. Okay. In the the 60s, that that would have flown as a comic book storyline. But this is like, oh no, you just devalued diamonds, you fucking idiot. And it's just like, oh, really? That kind of kills the immersion a little bit, of a goofy comic.
And then now the fact that and I'm looking through it now, and then he had to end up paying taxes. That was their big to do. Like, we're going to make him pay taxes. Yeah. Yeah.
See, for me, that's like a quintessentially British stereotype that almost works.
Well, how many times, like, we all know, our boy Scrump. How many times has he complained about, like, the tax board? Like, they're always screwing shit up, so.
He doesn't have a complaining permit.
Yeah.
It's weird, like, the tax crack in this honestly feels almost like something out of Douglas Adams. Like, just the absurdity and the right field of, oh, now you gotta deal with taxes, motherfucker. Isn't that inconvenient? And
what's worse than death?
Yeah, that's the height of, like, British horror, is being slightly inconvenienced by paperwork. It just felt... It felt kind of funny, but at the same time, it's just like one chuckle between a hell of a lot of groans.
Yeah, listen, I mean, I'm thinking, like, looking at this scene here where, after he's found out he's going to owe taxes on all the diamonds he donated, and, he's asked, what are you going to do? He said, I'm afraid I'm contemplating bankruptcy. And they were like, Superman, no.
Again, like, those were that panel, that set of panels, that page sort of worked for me.
Yeah.
But then we go with I just don't like that comic book logic only works against Superman. Superman doesn't get to use comic book logic to his own advantage, and then we don't get that, like, sense of like, we don't get, like, a rise in continually absurd actions. It's like absurd action, mundane boring reaction from Superman. Oh, how am I going to deal with taxes? Well, or how am I going to deal with, being revealed and having to go in debt? Well, I'm just going to reveal myself. That's a boring way. Do something like, It's going to be silly. I want it to, like, I want each time something silly happens, I want them to, like, one-up it. But then they just let the action fall.
How much force would it take to lodge a cricket ball in someone's frontal lobe? Asking for a friend.
and why didn't the guy instantly, instead of, like, going, oh no, it's very fine, then he just start going toast, paper, just started random words that made no sense, because I'm pretty sure that would, like, screw up everything in your frontal lobe if you did that. Like,
he'd be a vegetable.
Right.
But damn, now I want to see it.
You guys ever played cricket before?
No.
Those balls are mighty fucking hard, dude. I had a British neighbor. It's like a baseball, but a lot heavier. So, imagine it wouldn't take that much force. But yeah, no.
Wow. I just keep looking at that. There's a cricket ball lodged in me skull. It's moments like that, it's like John Cleese is a comedic genius, even if he didn't write that part. Oh, God. This Superman, this was...
So what worked in this? There's a lot of stuff that didn't work, but, like, what actually flew besides Lois Lane?
The sleaze. Like the whole tabloid, how that shit really works. Is like, playing it up for, sleaze value, basically. And stabbing each other in the back. Dude, even at the internet journalism level, that's kind of how it works. Wayne can back me up on this.
Mm-hmm. So essentially, getting to the end here, he goes through everything he goes through. He ends up just becoming he just becomes regular Superman and moves to America and becomes Clark Kent.
Yeah.
Except for that, it's Kent Clark.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he called himself Kent Clark? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kent Clark. Oh, vey.
Yeah, no, the newspaper plot stuff generally worked. I just really didn't like the idea of having Clark Kent write tabloid articles on Superman. I liked more of or I guess Colin Clark sneaking up on starlets and stuff like that. That worked a lot better for me than him being him writing his own articles against himself.
Right.
And it's this book fails at being terribly British.
Yeah.
Like,
written by British people.
Yeah.
No, the main writer's an American.
Well, still.
Oh, God.
There was a British man involved. So.
The British were involved somehow. But yeah, like hanging out with Scrump for so long, you're just like, Scrump is terribly fucking British.
Oh yeah,
painfully British.
Mm-hmm.
And
with the exception of the guns,
really weird right there. But yeah, but like this book just has nothing on an actual British autist. And that's kind of sad.
Yeah.
Well, no, and you've even got like other. You've got like more. When did this come out? Like 2004? Is that the year?
Yeah, it was 2004. Mm-hmm.
You had stuff like Transmetropolitan out before 2004, and some of that has like this like British style humor that works more effectively than this like British caricature that we see here. There's even like better jokes about the French in Transmetropolitan than there are in this, and that makes me kind of sad.
Well, he did accidentally blow up Eiffel Tower.
But then he fixed it.
I guess that's a good French joke.
That was a little weird thing too. He blows up the Eiffel Tower, and they're not mad. They just said, "Look at the way he tightens those bolts."
Very magnifique.
Yeah. I don't know. I was expecting it to be a little more entertaining, and you remember what we said last week? It'd be awesome if they did a true grit Superman, where it's like him and American West. Please, now I just want that now.
You okay?
Or better yet, Superman as Jonah Hex.
Well, that would work too.
I mean, that's both a DC property.
Wow.
I didn't even look at it yet.
That's a lot of fucking weed for $40.
I just wanted to get home.
That's actually a pretty.
Hey, Dick.
For $40, dude. Look at that.
Shithead.
Dick.
Dick.
He also was wearing the sugar skull thing.
Douchebag.
Oh, for sure.
Thing.
Dicklage.
Sounds fun.
Oh.
Yeah.
There we go.
Joshua Von Dickington Esquire.
This is like, fuck.
Fuck, sorry.
I thought I muted, guys. Fucking.
No, you're good.
Sorry.
We definitely didn't.
Now we know
hear any references to
now we know
illegal
you need more
drugs.
sugar. Yeah, we know you need more sugar and stuff. So.
Hey.
Anyway,
Please. Like I haven't just been sitting here the whole time smoking.
I would have never guessed.
We're all good, clean boys here. All wholesome folks.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That's why I had to say it 3 times.
I don't know. I don't feel like it's weird. I don't feel like there's a lot going for this book, but at the same time, we've read so much worse from Marvel.
Yeah.
So even DC's worst seems to be better than Marvel's worst.
I give this a 2.5 out of 5.
I give this
a 2.
I give this a 25% out of 100.
I'm gonna have to give it 12.5 grapples.
A solid number of grapples. It's not quite 25 grapples, but it's a good number of grapples.
I'm gonna give it a corner. I'm gonna give it a non-meat containing corner of a Publix chicken tendy sub.
So it's just bread and lettuce and mayo?
Yes. So totally not worth it is what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah. Unlike this podcast, it's worth the paper it's printed on, but not much more.
We're not printed on paper, so
Yeah, nobody's tried to transcribe us yet, ladies.
what the hell?
I don't know.
Did you just wink at me, Wayne? I know we don't have video on, but did you just wink at me?
Well, I said ladies, and if you're implying something, I mean, okay.
Dude,
Something you need
This
to
got
discuss with
really
everybody.
gay, really
I don't want to plug some, but you know what's actually really great?
Hmm.
You ever had Hanson's natural soda?
I've never heard of it.
It's made with cane sugar, and it's like caffeine free and all that shit. You know, no artificial.
Like a quarter can of Hanson's natural soda. That would be the rating.
Well, no, it's just it's a damn good soda.
Would it be an entire chicken tendy sub out of?
Well, yes. In fact, I really wish I could go to Publix and get a chicken tendy sub.
Right. Oh, they got different flavors here, huh?
Yeah, looks good.
But no, if this comic book were a soda, it would be like Dr. OK kind of thing.
It would be
Like-
flat Dr.
Like
Thunder.
you're telling me it would be the knockoff of the knockoff.
Yeah, it's like a second generation knockoff, dude.
Yeah. No, can't even get a Mr. Pibb out of this.
As long as we all agree the soda's definitely flat.
Yeah, no, it's a flat
Definitely
RC Cola.
Oh, God.
And it's like room temperature.
Oh man.
No, warm.
Yeah,
It's like room temperature on an 85-degree day.
They-
Oof. I mean,
That'd just be like drinking lava at that point. I just wouldn't do it.
That's why you shouldn't read this comic. Logic.
Don't read Superman True Brit. It is literally like drinking lava.
Instead, go out and write Superman True Grit so that we all can read it.
Yeah. And give it to somebody who knows what they're doing with an Old West theme.
Huh.
So John Wayne's Ghost. Go write it with John Wayne's Ghost instead of John Cleese.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
Josh Brolin, dude. He did no Country for Old Men. Come on.
Yeah, that could work. I could take a Josh Brolin.
Yeah.
We just write it with Will Smith. Duh, Wild Wild West.
Yeah, then we have a giant fucking spider. We can finally have Superman take on that giant fucking spider.
Yes. Somewhere Kevin Smith has got an erection.
God.
Problem is, if we write it with Will Smith, then Will Smith needs to star it, and Will Smith only knows how to play Will Smith, and I don't think Will Smith would play a good Superman. Maybe he could be Jonah Hex.
Could be worse. Could have to have Jaden in it. Then it'd be Neo Yokio.
Don't make it an anime.
Oh god, no.
Jonah Hex walks up to Superman in like the third panel. Superman, I have a giant Toblerone for you.
And then the gay sex.
This giant Toblerone.
And then in disembodied head of AJ Styles on a fez says, "I see you, you little bitch." Go check Myers' Twitter for that reference. you don't understand. People are like, "What? AJ Styles? Huh?"
This segment brought to you by hashtag Myers Twitter.
I mean, it might as well.
By Hanson's.
Come run with us.
See, that's when you said Hanson's, I thought it was like, did Stan Hansen start making soda? That would be awesome. Lariat Cole!
You know the worst thing is I think it's spelled the same way.
Put your ass down for a 3 count.
Yeah, I think it is spelled the same way too.
So yeah, you just take, it's like so much punch in this cola, it feels like you literally got I got a lariat from Stan Hansen himself, and he literally comes out and gives you a lariat if you start drinking the soda.
I'd take a lariat from Stan Hansen.
Yeah, I would too, because I was like, hey, Stan Hansen just gave me a fucking lariat. That's awesome.
Here, drink this soda, he'll hit you too.
Bam! He got some Japanese announcers in the background.
They only show up for the moments while you're drinking the soda, though.
Oh,
so, you get lariated, and then you look around, he's not there.
Yeah, he's a... The little people know is Stan Hansen is a ninja. And he can disappear at a moment's notice.
Are you talking about the Stan Hansen, the one who's co-writing Superman True Grit with us?
Yeah, that's Stan Hansen. Exactly. It's a cowboy. It works. Yeah.
Well, it was that or Bob Orton.
Yeah, Stan Hansen co-written with Bob Orton and Terry. With forward by Dory Funk Jr.
Brilliant.
Ship it. We got it.
Ship it. Print it. It's a wrap.
DCT, call us. We got this.
Billions of dollars.
Yeah.
Billions.
Well, we've single-handedly saved the comic industry, lads. Let's do it.
There are people out there right now who are like, "Oh, these motherfuckers."
Do we have any comments in the comment section? I wonder. People are looking at this like, what the fuck is going on here?
You know, I will fully admit, this entire time I have not been paying attention to the stream chat.
Well, that's not. Yeah, that's funny because I'm gonna pull a Daryl here. I'm not even paying attention to this stream. So.
Stream chat is dead, so don't worry.
Oh well, okay.
Nobody's watched. Nobody ever watches this. Nobody ever listens to this.
Nobody likes.
Are you saying that nobody likes us?
Dude,
No, he's just.
we got called fucking ideologues the other day.
Wait, who's calling us ideologues?
Yeah, who calls
People on Twitter.
What?
Because we don't give a shit about your fucking
Alt hero.
comic book war?
Yeah.
Oh god.
And because I said that story doesn't matter when it's being used as a vessel to convey rhetoric.
Oh, okay. Because you didn't take okay. I know what you're talking about now. You know what? I'm not going to beat around the bush. I don't give a shit about Alt Hero. Alt Hero is stupid. Alt Hero is going to fail miserably. Alt Hero is just a dumb idea on the other side of the fucking political spectrum. Alt Hero is going to bomb significantly. Okay.
Yeah, and things like this are why the only time we tend to talk about things like this is on Twitter, because Twitter doesn't fucking matter.
It doesn't. It really doesn't. Who gives a shit?
No.
What? Like, I mean, my thing is, I'm going to say it. If you wanted to be different, I got you, fam. I'm going to give you the blueprint. Y'all ready for the blueprint? Here's the fucking blueprint, okay? Do a superhero series. Done.
What?
Superhero
blew
series.
my mind.
That's
you
it.
Blew my mind. You can write a superhero series without making it all fucking stupid and political?
Right. It'll never work. I know it'll never work. They'll kill him in a day. I know it.
You're a madman.
I'm an absolute madman. But funny how it worked for almost 60 years, and all of a sudden,
I to bring it back home, I actually do have to admit this. Mm-hmm. True Brit did political humor. Right.
Yeah. And it wasn't terrible.
It wasn't offensive to either way you want to look at it. It really
was a dog. I mean, if anything, it was a commentary on the press of in Great Britain, which I've always heard is pretty terrible.
So no, and they made fun of Rupert Murdoch appropriately, correctly by having what's his name, Perry White, own all the fucking papers.
Yeah.
White Badger.
So that's Peregrine White Badger, excuse me, aka Perry White Light.
Well, no, evil Perry White.
Perry White.
Yeah, evil Perry White, because apparently good Perry White does exist in this universe.
Yeah.
So.
And his paper was bought out by
Perry.
His paper was bought out by Peregrine White Badger. At the end,
No, he bought the Star.
I thought it said he bought.
No, he bought the Daily Star, not the Planet.
The planet. Oh, the Star. God damn it.
Yeah. It's hard to keep up with it because the Star and the Planet were alternate reality stuff because Earth 2 had the Star and Earth 1 had the Planet. So I've just merged them into one. They've made I want to say it was after Crisis. The Daily Star was made in real continuity. It was just a lesser paper. Planet.
Whatever, man.
God damn, making shit complicated.
Hey, I'm all about confusing continuity issues that came from Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Right?
I was going to say, confusing continuity issues, that makes you a Marvel fan, right?
Look, we can diss on Marvel all we want, but until recently, they did not have this much of a continuity problem.
No, that's true. There was just a bunch of cube stuff that confused the shit out of me.
Yeah, I mean, the Marvel's problem in recent years has always been that they've tried to retcon shit that's been established for over 40 years.
Yeah.
So that's been their problem. DC's problem is they'll do a fucking they'll do a fucking revamp, and then 5 years later revamp that revamp.
It used to be every 7 years.
Yeah, you timed it, didn't you? You put it down to from Infinite Crisis, Crisis on Infinite Earths to
0 Hour.
Yeah, to 0 Hour. Yeah, and then from 0 Hour to what was it? Infinite Crisis.
Yep.
And then from Infinite Crisis to I guess Final Crisis.
That was the one where it broke.
That's when it broke it. Yeah, and then it became every 2 years.
Yep.
Because we need events. Maybe they should have made a event where all the heroes were British.
Oh God,
that would have been more interesting than some of the shit they pulled in the last few years. Honestly,
at least we'd get some good Constantine out of that.
Well, yeah, I was about to say he's already British.
Well, what if they made Constantine an American?
No.
I mean, so you got to reverse everything. It's like the what was the thing called in Marvel where the heroes became villains, the villains became heroes? What was the
Axis?
Yeah, the inversion or whatever they call it. Yeah. So the inversion is the British superhero Constantine becomes an American, and the American superheroes become British.
See, I think you could maybe do something interesting with a strictly British Batman.
Mm-hmm.
But that's I don't want to say that's the extent of it. I think it's the only one I think would really, really work effectively.
I think a British Batman would still kind of. I still think you'd have to do it as Gotham by Gaslight style. That would be the. You'd have to do it in the older times. It just wouldn't. I just didn't see a Batman working in a. I mean, it works. I mean, yes, Gotham is a major metropolitan city, but it's also like a degraded major metropolitan city.
So you just set it in Manchester.
I guess you could, but who
Manchester's supposed to be a shithole.
I mean, but,
Jesus.
I mean, let's say
Sorry if you're from Manchester.
the normal everyday person who reads comic books are going to say like Manchester.
Yeah, that's a good
Why
point.
isn't it in London? I know what London is.
Are you from London? Yeah,
The
no, I know what fucking
the
London
Olympics
is.
were held in London. Remember that.
Yeah, so long story short, that's why we don't set all the DC shit in Britain, because nobody knows where any of this bullshit is. Americans. Look, I know where Kansas is.
I
Middle
don't.
of bumfuck nowhere.
I don't know where it is.
Kansas is between Arkansas and Missouri. And
I don't know
That does not help me at all.
I don't know where Kansas is.
Nope.
I'm just saying it's between.
But I
Arkansas
got a better idea as to where Kansas is than Wales.
Yeah, I still don't know what the fuck Wales is.
I think I know where Wales is.
When I heard somebody talk about Wales, I'm like, what? We're going to go see the humpbacks? What's going on?
Some Moby Dick shit?
Yeah, Moby. Yeah, we're
Like I think
see the blue whales.
I hate to say it, but I have a better idea of where Wales is than I do of where Kansas is.
Telling you, it's between Arkansas and.
That does not help me whatsoever.
In fact, if you look at Arkansas, look at how it's spelled.
God damn it, that doesn't help if I don't know where these places are.
Yeah, that's another stupid thing. Like, even though it's Arkansas, in the river, the major river in Arkansas is called the Arkansas River. These are the dumb things I know. I'm sorry.
You poor Southern boy.
It's not even poor Southern boy. It's just poor. I look up dumb shit and remember it. I'm one of those few. I would be glad to be strucken with dementia so I can forget some of the dumb shit that I know.
Well, I mean, we have flirted over the years of starting a wrestling podcast too.
That's
Just
true.
because we know way too much about that.
Yeah. Like, well, actually, if you remember, in 1984.
Yeah, it's like you think I'm a walking comics encyclopedia? Holy shit, son.
Mm-hmm. It's
start that
not
podcast, by the way.
Hey, Jason, you remember that angle they did that time, and you're like, yeah. See, why can't comics be more like wrestling? They'll just get get your storyline, get your players. Every once in a while, if somebody gets injured, you got to insert somebody else.
Yeah, it's not. It's not like WWE has ever undergone a fucking reboot, like a full one.
Yeah, I mean they had to change their what?
Their branding from WWF?
Yeah, but
Well, not just that, but they had to for their appeal because when they started having to have actual competition with WCW, they tried that whole new generation thing. That was terrible. Who thought Savio Vega would be a top star? I want to know who was in on that meeting.
Puerto Rico.
No, but comics are a lot like wrestling. You got faces, you got heels, heroes and villains.
Mm-hmm.
You got people doing heel turns. Okay, that's
Yeah.
the one thing wrestling's got the comics doesn't have. Fucking heel turns.
Yeah,
Or
wouldn't it be
face
nice
turns, yeah.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be awesome if, just like all of a sudden out of nowhere, like the aliens are coming and conquering the world and blah blah blah, and Superman shows up and he drop kicks Batman.
He drop kicks Batman, but then the Joker does a fucking face turn and beats the shit out of Superman. What?
yeah. That's what I'm saying. It would be like basically.
Well,
Superman
dude,
goes NWO.
That's not recently in DC. The original Clayface, Basil Karlo, is part of the Bat family.
Oh shit! Really?
Really?
Oh wow!
He's turned face.
So he turned face.
And
Clayface face.
Selena is so face turned she's marrying Bruce.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, so she's made a full face turn now.
Yep.
Yeah, but that's just setting up for a sick heel turn.
Oh yeah, that's.
Well, yeah, but they all are. That's the point.
Liz, do you realize, guys? You realize
awesome.
You realize we just by using wrestling terminology with comics, we made this podcast a whole lot more interesting.
You guys imagine the Riddler turning face? How cool would that be?
Right?
He did it briefly, if I remember correctly.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Fucking what was it? Trying to remember. But yeah, getting back to like, could you imagine like Superman just going all NWO and like becoming a bad guy and like ended up leading the evil alien invaders? That'd be awesome. And it'd be like, Superman, why? They think he's under control or something. Like, no, I just like hate everybody.
I'm just sick of humanity's bullshit. You guys fucking suck.
Yeah, and then he points at Batman, and I'm tired of that asshole always beating me.
And then he
chokes being his friend. Yeah, you imagine what it's like being his friend. That smug bastard.
And then both the Robins turn on him too.
Yeah.
Fucking sweet.
Yeah. Like, Superman becomes organized and everything to go. Basically, Batman becomes even more Batman. He becomes like Sting after he became the Crow Sting. he goes even further Batman. It's like Batman with no restrictions. In the end, Batman will end up beating his Robin with a crowbar. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, and then that Robin becomes Red Hood, and we've got the next villain. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Where the hell did we go with all this?
I mean, I think it's very safe to say that we need a country and western Batman. That isn't.
I thought we needed a country western Superman.
Not Batman. Well, Superman, but Batman will be in it because they always had to insert Batman in there somewhere, so he'll be in there, and then it'll all be narrated by Jerry King Lawler and Jim Ross.
Special guest appearance by Jeff Bridges.
My God, he's got a lady Batman.
Wow.
And Batman has kryptonite bullets, obviously.
In his 6-shooter?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But he actually has a 12-shooter because he modified it.
He's got one of those. Batman. He's got like what's the revolver that's got the carbine clip on the top? That's what he's got.
What?
What?
Oh, it's like don't worry about it. I'll go find this gun on Twitter.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's some ugly shit. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Problem is, we're very worried about it now. Oh, God damn it. But you know what? It would have been a little more an interesting idea for like this. Let's have Superman land in other places ideas. Could you imagine a Middle Eastern Superman?
Oh,
2004.
Like Superman, but he's a Sikh? That would actually be fucking cool.
Yeah, I'm not even. Doesn't have to be Muslim. Could be a Sikh. Could be a Hindu.
Superman, dude.
Yeah.
Dude, Sikh Superman
Exactly.
would be fucking dope.
would he have a Sikh knife?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he would have a scimitar, dude.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. That's what I'm fucking saying, dude.
Do you realize we just became like a fucking Ricky Bobby from Digging Nights? Really? like put a little knife on there and stuff? That'd be awesome.
Dude, you know the worst part? You know who would be his Lex Luthor?
Who?
Virender Jabal.
Oh. Why is this white man becoming the savior of my people? Why? Why white? Come on. But the problem is, while he tries to deal with super Sikh, he has to deal with this little Muslim boy in Australia.
Who keeps bullying the shit out of him.
Nowhere. Yeah. I'm just about a harmless little Muslim boy.
He keeps mentioning something about a Mr. Quest.
And Thus, the crossover is complete. And we have reached fan fiction tier. Congratulations.
Zim Zim Zalabim.
Holy shit.
I think I'm going to name the episode that.
Zim Zim Zalabim.
Yep.
People are like, what the fuck is this supposed to be about?
Well, dude, at this point, only like 40% of the episode was actually about the comic.
Yeah, but it wasn't much to talk about, so...
Well, that's about what percent we would all give the comic, so...
Oh, shit.
Fucking A.
Right.
Yeah.
Just don't read Superman True Brit. Just write your own fan fiction. It'll be better, I promise.
Alright, so...
You have Jim Ross calling it the action in the movie.
So next week's be kicking off something a little interesting. It's going to be a 2-part, quote-unquote, season finale. We're going to be doing Alex Ross versus Alex Ross. From Marvel, we're going to be doing Earth X. And then from DC, we're going to be doing Kingdom Come. I bring the question to you right now. Which order do you want to do them in?
Worst to first.
So, Earth X first?
Mm-hmm. I'm glad you picked up on that very easily.
That's kind of what I assumed was going to be the order, to be perfectly honest. It was like, Marvel, What If, edgy name. That one's probably going to be the worst one. We should probably do that one first.
Yeah.
And it's still not that bad. It's got some pretty cool shit.
I assume it's
but the thing is like either you do that or you have the letdown like you had this week. You know, after an awesome, awesome series too. Yeah.
We've had a few pretty good ones in a row. We had the Batman stuff. We had Exiles. We had Superman Red Sun. All pretty good stuff. And then this turd.
Yeah.
And then we did Marvel 1602 in there.
Oh yeah, no, that was awesome too.
Yeah, that's the one I missed, unfortunately.
It's all good. We held it down.
Yeah, that's the one I read at 4 a.m, so I didn't remember it so well.
Just like everything else in your life. I mean,
yeah, sounds about right.
Let's see.
Brutal slam dunk.
Yeah. Chaos dunk. I've just destroyed the Eastern Seaboard, lads. I'm sorry. Are you going to outro us out then? Because I don't see anything else.
Yeah. Support Caleb Prime's Patreon, which is Patreon/Caleb Prime, I think it is.
See Caleb.
See Caleb? Yeah. There we go.
Don't perform any chaos dunks.
Support our Patreon, /graded.5. And, yeah. Support your local comic shop and support the Comic Book Legal Defense Fund. And, don't support Dan Slott.
And look out for Stan Hansen.
Suck my dick.